I'm Ron and I'm back again for another classic RSR. Tonight I am reviewing Toronto FC 5, LA Galaxy 3 from September 15th, 2018. The match that I chose to review tonight because the true match of the week picked by TFC was Toronto versus DC United in last year's playoffs. I've already talked about that match. I've already reviewed that match. If you want to watch that review, click here, the card up here to watch that. Or watch this, then watch that. You know what it is, but click the card if you want to watch the actual match of the week's RSR. Right there. And if you want to watch this one first. Come back to the start, or I'll probably just put a link to that at the end as well, so you can click that as well. But we'll see. We'll see. Okay, so let's start with the goals. 5th minute, Victor Vasquez gets a cross from Gregory Vanderwill for a header. Vasquez heads it in. 1-0 Toronto FC. Then in the 16th minute, Jonathan Osorio has the ball, passed to him from Altidore, passes it back to Josie Altidore. Josie Altidore shoots to the far post, scores the goal, 2-0. Then, in the 36th minute, Sebastian Giovinco runs onto the ball that was passed to Josie Altidore when he gets knocked down by a LA defender. Seba gets there with a lot of pace, shoots it, scores 3-0. Then in the 44th minute, Zlatan Ibrahimovic gets a pass overhead from Jonathan Dos Santos, karate kicks it in past Alex Bono for his 500th MLS goal to make it 3-1. And that's how it would end the half. But what a goal by Zlatan Ibrahimovic. His 500th goal. Not just MLS goal, his 500th career goal. My word. That was great. 2 years on, it's still an amazing goal. And I can say that because we won the game, even though he scored that goal, we still won the game. So, you know, that's the best type of situation. You know, they get their milestone, but we still win. And I've always liked Zlatan anyway. I mean, everybody likes Zlatan. If you don't like Zlatan Ibrahimovic, you're wrong. You're not cultured. I'm sorry. You have to like him. It's impossible not to. I don't know anybody who doesn't like Zlatan. It's impossible. It's impossible. So, the way the game went was great for us, you know? So that's what it is. Now, let's talk about the second half. 54th minute, off a free kick by Zlatan, crossed into the box. Ola Kamara heads it in to make it 3-2. Then in the 57th minute, Ashley Cole crosses the ball into the box, right to Rolf Felcher. Rolf Felcher heads it in to make it 3-3, and that's his first MLS goal. And I still think it's his only. It's either his only or like he's only got like 3 now, if he does have any more, but that was his first against us. Then in the 75th minute, Jonathan Osorio gets a ball passed to him, centered by Marky Delgado. Osorio heads it in, close range, 4-3. That would be your winning goal, but in 90+4 in stoppage time, Jay Chapman, the ball comes back to him off a rebound, saved by David Bingham, shot by Giovinco, and Jay Chapman just wallops it in to make it 5-3, and Toronto FC would win the game 5-3 over the LA Galaxy at home on that fateful September night to try to make it back into the playoffs, because every point at that point was needed for Toronto FC. Now, as we know today, they failed to make the playoffs in 2018, but they had a valiant effort to try to make up that ground. We know that. And they just came up short. And they didn't win the Campeones Cup, which was the game right after this, that Wednesday after. And then a month later, or actually a month before, they won the Canadian Championship. Yeah, Canadian Championship was in August that year. Then the Campeones Cup in September. Yeah. But all they won that year was the Canadian Championship. Could have won the Champions League, lost it on pens. Lost the Campeones Cup because they were just horrible that game. And Seba and Josie got hurt. And their strike partnership for most of that game was Lucas Hansen and Toussaint Ricketts. Not to say that's bad, but I still like Lucas Hansen as a player. Hell, I still like Toussaint Ricketts as a player, but they're no Giovinco and Altidore. This is just the truth. Against Tigres? No. No, but we're not here to talk about that. We're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about LA versus Toronto. The game Zlatan scored 500 and the game we basically stole in the last 20 minutes. Which, that was pretty amazing. Like, the end of the season for TFC, like, that ending in 2018, there were some good games there. Goal fests, but good games. The defense was horrible, but still, goal fests, and they still won, and there were some good games there. Again, the second leg against Vancouver in the Canadian Championship, the game against LA, the last game against Atlanta that they won 4-1, which was amazing, which I could not believe they did that, stopping Atlanta from beating their points record, but New York Red Bulls had beaten Orlando on the last day to take the points record and first in the East, but it was only one more. And then LA broke the points record last year, but don't worry, guys. When we get back to football, Toronto's going to break the points record again. Don't worry. Don't worry. But what about if the season is shortened? Don't worry. They're not going to lose a match or draw another. Okay, they may draw their first one back, but they still ain't going to lose. I still think in a shortened season they could beat the points record. Or at least you could make the conversation saying, hey, look at their points per game. If they played 34, they would have beat the record this year. You could do that. Probably me, that's something I would do, and I would sound like an utter prat. But hey, we'll see. We'll see, but it does sound like MLS is going to come back after June 8th. June 8th is going to be the last postponement. They'll have a training camp of some sort to get them back into form. Then they'll play at neutral sites is what it sounds like, but we'll get more into that when it's actually announced. But it sounds like there's an Orlando neutral site plan to have these games at that Worldwide Sports Complex, ESPN in Orlando, Florida, and the new games, like post-corona, the reason I'm doing this classic video, when the postponement is over, they will all play games in a quarantine site in Orlando, which sounds pretty nice to me, with possibility to go back to home markets later this year, which sounds nice to me, so we'll see. Maybe even Kansas City gets in on it for the Western Conference. We'll see, but yeah. But if Toronto plays a full schedule, they'll break the points record, or it'll be obvious that they would have been a full season if you do the math. Which points per game wise, yeah. So, if you do the math. Whatever. But, back to this game. The defense was horrible. The defense was horrible on both sides, really. But that's what made it an awesome goal fest. Both offenses played well. Toronto kind of got beat in the possession game in the first half. But they still dominated it. And then I would say it was even in the second half, but Toronto still took the game back and won it 5-3. But defensively, the game was horrible. But that was 2018 for us. Like, every game past the Champions League final was horrible defensively. It just depended on what type of horrible it was. Was it like, oh, the other team scored a goal, but they parked the bus and we couldn't score. Or we scored 3 quickly and then we blew it. But one time we didn't come back. Columbus. Then this time we came back, so we learned something. I don't want to talk about that game against Columbus. That was just crazy. Or the referee steals a goal from us that we basically rightfully scored, but you're going to say something is offside that wasn't really offside to take it away. Like the Chicago game, which is actually one of the only 3 that I missed that year. And because I went to prom that night. Because the game against Chicago in April was on prom night back in 2018. That was amazing. Oh, that made me angry. Like, I didn't know how bad it was until I got back to my room at that hotel. Because I saw the score and I'm like, okay, 2-2 draw. Fine. I'm like, oh, wait, what? It should have been 3-2 for us. What? And then we also blew the lead late. That was depressing. But offensively, this game was amazing. I like goal fests, especially when you know the result. Now, when it comes to the fact of a goal fest happening in real time, had I talked about this back in 2018, had I had a YouTube channel, I probably would have been a bit more angry, a little bit more flustered and pissed off. But now, not really, because I know what happened and I'm just talking about it, shooting the breeze about it, because quarantine, you know? But, yeah, I would have been really angry at the defense had I talked about this, like, the night of this LA-Toronto game back in September 2018, which, if I remember correctly, I also had found out I was nominated for homecoming court for my senior year that night, so that was kind of a good night when that game happened, September 15th, 2018. I'm just giving context. I'll say what I want to say. I'm just giving context, you know, like what happened. Why do I remember that day? Or what happened that day to make it a special day, even though MLS just showed this earlier this week, and I'm like, well, if I'm going to talk about something, I guess I'll talk about this, which is great, but you know, oh, and by the way, got the jersey they wore in it a couple of days ago. You'll see that unboxing tomorrow because the USPS is slow and FedEx sucks, but that's a story for another day, which you'll probably never hear because why would I? I don't think you'll hear about it, but yeah. You'll see the unboxing video of my 2 jerseys tomorrow. I have it ready. Don't worry. But, yeah. So, yeah. Defensively, horrible. Offensively, great. Overall, but we still won, so yeah. So, if you like this video, like it, share, subscribe, you know what it is, tell all your friends. As I said, tomorrow, you're going to see an unboxing video. I'm Ron and I'm out. Peace.